Now, we're standing in a room that could be anyone's in Australia. I mean, I don't think that this room has had a lick of paint put on it in about 15 years. So we're going to change that and make it look great. I've got Mark from Monarch here to help me. This room needs a lot of love. It is really unloved. So we're going to paint it?
Yes.
What do we do to start preparing to paint?
OK, before you start painting, you need to do a couple of critical things. Number one, we want to do some filling on the walls where there's little, imperfections in the walls. We want to dust down. We also want to wash surfaces if they need it, Leah, and we also want to sand down because that'll help the paint adhere. Now, what I want to do before we do all that preparation, Leah, is I like to prepare my brushes and my rollers. I'll show you a couple of little key tips which will help a lot. If you want to paint like a painter, use painter's quality brushes and rollers, which is what we've got here. Now, what we've done is we're going to use water-based paint. So I've stood my brushes in an inch of water and I want to leave them there for at least 10 to 15 minutes because that will soften the filament, and note how that brush holds its shape. Absolutely beautiful. So that'll give me great control.
Good.
With our roller, a beautiful roller, all you simply do with a roller, what you don't want is fluff all over the wall.
No.
So you take your roller out of the pack, you take it to a sink, and all you do is run your hand around it under running water for about a minute. That'll be enough to get rid of any fluff. You squeeze as much moisture into the sink as you can, put it on your roller frame and spin it 10 to 20 times down a wall to get the excess out, and you're good to go. OK, so now we've got our products ready. What we need to do, we need to sand our walls. And what I've done is I've picked some spots where there's some imperfections on the wall and I've filled those and let them dry.
Yeah.
So now what we need to do is to make that smooth. So we get ourselves some sandpaper. What I've got here is I've got 120 grit sandpaper, which is basically a fine sandpaper for a variety of surfaces. And all you simply need to do is just fold a patch of it that you can hold in your hand, nice and comfortable, and you simply come across to your patch. You sand it nice and smooth.
You make it look easy. Nice work.
OK.
All right, let's get sanding.
OK. So I reckon that looks really good, Leah.
That looks great. I think that's smooth and ready to go.
So that's the sanding, but there's one other thing we need to do, particularly with older places. If you look down here on the skirting board, you can see this gap between the skirting and the wall.
That's a huge
What we need
gap.
to do is fix that. Now, we don't use the filler we use on a wall because that dries hard and as soon as there's movement, it falls out.
Right.
What we need is a gap filler, a flexible gap filler, OK? Now, this little Monarch mini gap filler is a beauty because the smaller canister means you've got less wastage for small projects. And what we're going to do, we've loaded it in our compact gun, and all I'm simply going to do is push it out, and you push it away from yourself so you're filling the hole beautifully with the gap filler, OK?
Yep.
Now, you can wipe that with your finger, but here's a great little product. It's called a little smoother, and it's got that lovely tip. All we do here is nice and slowly wipe off the excess.
Oh, that's better than a finger.
Get yourself a wet rag, smooth it over. You do that,
Perfect.
we're good to go.
So now that we've sanded and filled and prepped, we're pretty much ready to go to actually put some paint on the walls. Is there any other processes we need to think about?
The only other thing I would do, Leah, once we've sanded, you create a little bit of dust. So what you do is you just have the old cloth in the back pocket, give everything a nice dust over so that when you go like that, there's no dust. And that means we've got a surface ready to go, and with the right brush and roller, we're ready to paint.